guys, welcome back to another episode of Beauty with a Twist. I'm so excited for this week's episode because we have a special guest, my first esthetician on here for season 3. Please introduce yourself.
Hi guys, my name is Nadine. I am a local esthetician out here in the Inland Empire, and you might know me on Instagram as Secret Skin Bar.
You want to know something? I know you from TikTok.
TikTok?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not even active on TikTok.
You were though.
I was for like a month, and then I freaking was like,
I felt
like I wasn't getting any traction there, so I was like, bye.
I know. I feel like you were.
Really? I need to like go back
you.
on.
Yeah, I found you, and then after that, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think you followed me, and then I followed you back.
Yeah, on Instagram.
And then I realized you were local, and I was like, oh, she's in a show.
We're like, let's be SE friends, right? Yeah. Because I found you there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I liked your content from there.
That makes me feel good because I felt like I wasn't getting any views on TikTok. I'm not old, you know. These like Gen Z people are all on TikTok, and I was like, what the hell am I doing? So then I just like recycled some videos from Instagram, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a TikTok, guys, but I don't get as much engagement as I do on Instagram.
So you were just uploading like your reels and stuff?
Yeah. Pretty much.
A lot of people do that though, because like how the fuck are you gonna post on Instagram and then like TikTok and like 2 different videos, or like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
So you're located?
I'm in Eastville, which is about 25, 30 minutes from here.
That's where your studio's at?
Yeah, I'm in Eastville.
For some reason, I thought you were like an OC.
No, I'm in Eastville.
I live in Eastville.
You live in Eastville?
I live in
Eastville. Shut up.
I swear.
Warrior Cross Streets. No, I'm just kidding.
You know that Rouse?
Where?
The Rouse?
Oh, yeah.
Right
so you're right by Lemonade?
I'm right there, bro.
Yeah, we're like 5 minutes from my house, 5 minutes from my studio.
So you have your house in Eastville and your studio?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are you solo?
I am solo.
Okay. So did you work at like a salon first, or you just went straight solo?
I first, when I graduated in 2019, end of 2019. I actually was working at Ulta in Eastville. I got hired there right out of school. They hired estheticians, and you actually could get facials done there, which I wasn't aware. Like Ulta getting facials, so weird, right? But they're like half-ass facials where you're like sitting in a chair, so it's not really like the full experience. But I was like, you know what? This is my first gig. Lo and behold, 3 weeks into the job, COVID hit, and and then they furloughed me. So I was only working 3.5 weeks there. I got furloughed. If you guys don't know what furloughed means, basically like we'll hold your job, but you're not getting paid. And that went on. So while everybody was straggling toilet paper and trying to, you know, get all these things, like I was like figuring out what the hell I was going to do with myself, because the beauty industry was getting shut down and it was my first job. So I was like, what the hell am I going to do? Mm-hmm. But then at that point, I kind of was like, well, what am I going to do? Cry about it? Like, what do I have to lose? So at that point, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to open up my own business. I did not really have a clue with what I was doing, but I had that mentality, like,
you had that drive.
What can I, like, what's there to lose at this point? Like, I lost my job, basically. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to just figure out, like, a name, you know? And that's when I was, like, online. I'm like, I feel like everybody does, like, glow by whatever, or aesthetics by blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I just want something catchy and different. And I thought of Secret Skin Bar. My husband actually helped me think of it. And I guess the thought behind it was like having all the secrets to skin. And then that spring, industry was still shut down, and I was figuring out, who am I going to partner with? I started doing a lot of research. I started taking extensive courses. I really invested in my education. And then by that summer, I was up and running. I actually started in my home. So Eastville is very expensive. I don't know if a lot of people know where Eastville is. Every time they ask me where I'm from, no one knows where the hell Eastville is. I have to be like,
Corona.
You have to say like past Chino Hills, because I'm literally like in the middle of Chino Hills, Corona, Ontario, and Aruba. Like it's like a triangle. Yeah. There's no freeway direct, but Eastville is very expensive, and I want to say they try to be like the Beverly Hills of the Inland Empire. So for me to find a space in Eastville was like, oh my God, it was so impossible, because average spaces were about $7,500 to $8,000 a month. So as a small business owner with no employees, just myself, that's a whole lot of money to go towards an overhead for rent. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start in my house. So I started in my house, and I started just no clients, none at all. I had no clients. My family's far. My friends are kind of far. One of my friends became my client just to like, get traction. And then one of my neighbors told her sister. And then I kind of just started circulating like on the pages in Eastville. And people loved that I was in home for some reason.
They did like it?
They were so supportive of it because of all these people that were losing their business during COVID that they wanted to support even more. And they were like, I just feel like it's so like I'm supporting you, not a big corporation. And I love how you are in your house just because I feel like it's very intimate. And my professional space at my house was really nice. Like I redid the whole room, like the wallpaper, like just I invested in really good equipment. So it literally looked like an aesthetic room. Yeah. And I think my clients appreciated that. So I was there for a little bit, and obviously like it wasn't a forever thing. It was just kind of to get started. Once the beauty industry opened again, I started like looking for a place, and finally they made salon suites out in Eastville finally. And I've been there since. I'm planning on doing another move probably next year. But
is it like a solo salon?
Yeah, I'm at a solo. I'm at a solo right now. Still freaking expensive. Still for 100 square feet, it's pretty expensive, but I mean, I could pay that compared to 8,000.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, yeah, I could go into Corona Deep or come out here or go into Chino, the other side of Chino, like off the 60, and I'd probably be able to find something a little cheaper with more space. But let's be real, like a lot of people don't like to drive. I know if you're a loyal client, you'll drive, but a lot of clients, just in general, like they want something close. And I think for me, I like being close to home. I like being close to my clients. I like being close to my kids. It's perfect right now. So I would love to expand in the future. So we'll see.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes like when you try to expand I said this like in my last episode, I was like going solo into like having your own shop. Like I wish I stayed solo because there's so much more.
Yeah.
In like that goes into like owning a shop that a lot of people don't know that. And I think that's why solo charges so much, because there's so much more to it, when you have your shop.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I commend you for doing that because, I mean, when I'm ready to do that, I want to make sure the timing is perfect. Yeah. The location has to be that's prime for me.
Yeah.
And then obviously I have to be making enough to cover my overhead. Like, some of my friends, they lucked out and they paid $1,200 a month, for 800 square feet, $1,500. I'm just like, where are you? Where are they at? Because like,
I would sign that contract tomorrow.
Yeah. And I'm like, but now that they're opening more salon suites where I live, it's been nice to like, leave my house, and the growth has been great ever since I started. So
was it a lot of word by mouth after that?
It was all word by mouth. So like I never advertised because I was in my house for a while and I didn't want weirdos coming, but again, everybody was working from their home during this time, hairdressers, because we couldn't go to work. So it's like, you do what you got to do and you just make it work. Never once did I pay for an ad. Till this day, I have never paid for an ad. For me, I feel like gaining someone's like trust is like the main thing, and really developing a relationship between, yes, with your client. It's not just like they are your client. They become your second family. There's a saying that goes, a client will become your friend before a friend becomes a client. And that has become so real in the sense of when I opened my business, it really made me open my eyes to that. Like I have a handful of friends that have supported me since day one. And supporting your friend doesn't necessarily mean you have to get services from them. It can come
with the post,
a reshare, a like, a tag. Like that goes a long way because I have friends that live all over different cities, and let's be real, they're not going to drive from Whittier to all the way out here. Maybe some of them will once a month or like once every other month, but everybody's busy. So it kind of really opened my eyes, like of who like are my real friends. And,
Yeah, that's how it is. You lose people, you lose friends in the industry once they see you,
Yeah. And so my community that like I built like with my clients and even in the esthetician community, it's like it's really nice. And especially to collab with like people like you. To me, I don't see like competition. I feel like there's enough clients and patients to go around for everybody.
Mhm.
Um, and I just get excited to collab with doing stuff like this or just having friends that are in the same element and in the same era as I am. And we can relate so much.
Yeah, especially when it comes to like, well, we do the same thing. So
Yeah.
it's like we could be doing like we could be talking about like, hey, like how to better your business and like how to better my business. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
like I feel like advice goes a long way.
It does.
Like that's why every time I go to like conventions or anything, I always try to take like a class, even if it's like a business class I already know.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I just want to see their perspective on it,
Yeah.
because everyone's perspective is
It's
different
so different.
and
Yeah.
everyone goes through different like things. So I
Yeah.
would want to see like what they went through,
Yeah, everybody navigates through things
and
differently.
learns.
Everybody interprets things differently. So I feel like there's always room to gain more knowledge. There's never going to be like, oh, I educated myself too much or, the learning never stops. And that's how you end up really just building over time, because you have to elevate. But in order to do that, you have to keep up to par with the latest trends, with the latest technology, education. There's people that will, question like your pricing, and it's like, well, you can question my pricing. The reason you're paying that much is not just for the service, you're paying for my expertise. So if you want a fluff facial or if you can't afford that, that's fine. Not every client's going to be for you and not every client's going to be for me,
Yeah.
and that's okay, and I've had to like learn that these past 3.5 years. Because at the beginning, it's kind of hard. You're kind of just figuring things out. But now it's easy for me to close that door really quick. And because I don't want to attract those type of clients either. I value my clients' time. I value their opinions. I value a lot of stuff. But I'm also not going to, lower my standards as an esthetician or lower my pricing, like because I know what I'm worth.
And because you invested so much.
I did. I've invested so much, thousands of dollars, like into my trainings. I mean, I'm an acne specialist. I literally just specialize in skin. So like, you won't catch me waxing. You won't catch me like doing even lash lifts or anything. Like I know how to do all that. I just choose to focus on one thing because that's what I excel in and I want to be known for that. So I gladly refer people, like if they're looking for a wax, if they're looking for a lash person, I gladly refer them to my neighbors, to my colleagues, to my friends, because I want them to get business as well.
Yeah.
And I just want to be known for what I shine for,
Yeah. Which is skin.
Yeah.
And you're good at it. Okay.
I am. Yeah, I am.
So it's like there are some people that have like so many like different, like they're trying to like see what they're good at, like there's like waxers and then there's like they're trying to bring in facials like me, like I do. I feel like my specialty is like brows and then body wax and then facials.
Yeah.
And then like I tried bringing in other stuff. I was like, no, I can't, like I just don't like it,
Mm-hmm.
like I got over it. And I feel like those 3 things that I'm so like, I know that I can do, I'm good at. It's something that I know like people come to me just for that.
Yeah. And then you gain their trust and they're like, I don't trust no one with my brows, but Didi, like, and I'm going to tell so-and-so because she slays my brows, you know? And that's how I am. Like I specialize in acne. I specialize in age management, pigmentation. Like I love doing chemical peels. Like I will peel everyone. Like I will, I love popping pimples. Like, that fascinates me. Like I look forward to going to work every single day. It's never like, oh my God, I have to go to work today. It's like, oh shit, how many clients do I have today? Like, what am I looking at? So I just feel like when you're in your element and you're doing what you love, it's never like a bad day of working.
Yeah. So now that you have your own business, how is it like running on your own?
It's great. So long story short, I actually, I'm 36 and a half and I decided to change my career path, when it was 2019. So, I first fell in love with skin probably maybe 5 years before that. And it's when I developed my own condition of rosacea, where I got sent to dermatologist. And it was all from using a damn Clarisonic, where I got really compromised. And back then, those are the things.
Sephora would sell me on those Clarisonics.
Okay? I mean, with what I know now, I want to slap someone if they use a brush on their face,
Period.
But that shit really messed up my skin. And it wasn't the cause of my rosacea, but it just brought it up. And it was just sad going to dermatologist after dermatologist and them just giving me a steroid cream or a cream that would make me worse. So then I started researching, and I ended up managing my own skin. And I was like, I love this stuff. And then a few years later, I went back to school, and it was my little one was about 1.5. And at that point, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to go back to work. So do I start at the bottom of the barrel again? Because I do have a background in marketing, advertising, and that's what I did prior. I have my degree in both marketing, advertising, and sociology, my bachelor's. And there was such a big gap in employment from being home with my kids. So I was like, what do I do? Do I go back to that same field to start at the bottom, entry level, build my way up? Or do I go back to school, do something that I love? And I took the chance. There was an opening with this course, and I got in, and it was like an overnight thing. Like they were like completely closed. There was like a wait list, like of a lot of people, and someone happened to drop, and I took, it was meant to be. And I took an accelerated course. I paid whatever, and it was hard. It was like 14-hour days because I left my house at 6, and then I got home at 8 at night, and I had to drop my little one at daycare on the way. 2 hours there, 2 hours back to drive. Yeah, it was a lot.
Dedication.
Yes. So that was hard, I think, going back to school when I have my kids, when I've already been out of school for 15 years, it's like that was a lot. But I feel like I'm a very strong-minded person, and I am not someone that just stays quiet. So in my past jobs,
they got you in trouble.
Yeah. And it was like, I just don't like reporting to anybody. Like, there was a reason why I'd always get into it with my bosses. And, I still talk to some of them to this day, like we're friends, but I was always that employee that they looked at as their daughter. Like, oh my God, like, you're just, and I think with having my own business, it gives me the freedom to speak my mind. I don't have to report to anybody. I make my own schedule. So in that sense, I love having my own business because I am not a person to report to anybody. Yeah. Like I'll probably get fired, yes. And it works out. But yes, I love having my own business because of course of the flexibility. But I feel like I've had my business for 3.5 years now, and I've seen a lot of growth from the beginning to where I started from my home until now. And it's not just about having a flexible schedule or anything, because I feel like when you're a business owner, you work even more. So instead of working the 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, whatever, I'm working 24/7. And, I get text messages. I need products at midnight sometimes. I get text messages. I was on vacation for 10 days the other week, and I specifically said to not message. I still got text messages. I got emails. And it's like a lot of times, like, where do you draw the line too? Because it's like, it's so hard to be a business owner, manage your business, finances. I'm a content creator. There's so many hats that we wear. It's like, no one teaches you this stuff when you open up your own business, and I'll be honest, you just learn as you go. It doesn't just, I didn't like read a book and be like, this is what you expect when you have a business. I kind of just was like, took a chance on myself, rode the waves. Here I am later, but they don't prepare you
for how much you have to work and how much of like you're right. Like, we're a content creator. We have our own, we're
our own accountant. Taxes to take care of. Yeah. It's like, finances. There's just so much stuff. Yeah. And it's like, now we have to make reels. Yes. Then we have to make TikToks. We have to do videos before and after photos. And it's like, we have to be present with our client. But then me, after work, I had to put my mom hat on. And I have to do laundry after work for my clients. Then laundry at home with my kids. Clean my house. Cook. And then it's like, where's the time for me? Because I'm taking care of people all day, taking care of my kids. Luckily, I have a wonderful partner, my husband, who does a lot at home, and he picks up my slack. But still, I feel like it's a lot. And being a business owner isn't for everyone. It's like some people like the fact that they can go 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or whatever. And that's it. They leave work at work and they come in and they get paid hourly. Mm-hmm. They don't have an overhead. They don't have an overhead or like stuff to that's going to make their mind go all crazy. So I feel like I think that being a business owner has worked out for myself because of who I am and how and what I've been through with my life. Like I've done the 9 to 5. And I found myself, but I found myself when like in my mid-30s.
Yeah.
So if you're out there, and this doesn't have to do with anything with skin, but if you're someone out there that's, you want to start a business in the car industry, if you want to start a business in apparel, whatever, it's never too late. Some people will think, oh, it's too late. I'm in my mid-30s and I feel like I'm thriving. I feel like if I wouldn't have went back to school and I would have stood in that marketing era, like I would have had a job, but would I have been happy?
Yeah.
Would I be making as much money as I make now? Probably not. It's a lot. And people also don't prepare you that when you have a business, it's never going to be steady income. It's going to be 1 month you can be
thriving.
Yeah. Like for me. And then there's another month where it's like crickets.
Yeah.
And I feel like for a lot of people, July and August have been slow. People going back to school, vacationing, and it's just like cancels, last minute. And when you get those cancellations, it's hard to fill them. So then you have gaps in your schedule. Mm-hmm. And a lot of, it's hard kind of drawing the line because although I do have like a cancellation policy, a 48-hour policy, most of the time I don't end up charging people because I'm so nice. I always waive the first charge. But when I have to charge, some people get butthurt about it. But at the end of the day, you have to put yourself in our shoes. Like this is our time that, we lose money. We lose money. Someone else could have had that slot. And I think a lot of people don't see it that way. Mm-hmm. But then I have people that don't even flinch. They're like, yeah, charge me, which is nice.
I even have regulars that say that all the time. Like,
it's because they respect the hustle and they know how it is. It's until you've actually kind of been in the position, then you'll kind of understand it. And now that I've become a business owner, I have so much respect for small business owners and like how much work gets put into small businesses. And I love supporting small businesses like locally, like my local moms. And just, it makes me feel so good to support other businesses because I know how hard it is to have a startup or have a small business and how much work goes into it, Yeah.
I mean, I always, even like street vendors, you know?
All the time.
All the time. If I have cash, I'm like, I don't want the flowers, but you know what? You can just keep the cash.
Yeah, that's how I am too. Like, or just like, here, just keep the change, give them $10, whatever. Like, it's true. And I think for me, that goes a long way. It makes me humble to know, like, when you start from the bottom, literally, I started from the bottom. And I'm nowhere near done. That's why I see it. It's like I started from the bottom. Now I'm here, but I'm coming up here.
Drake, where you at?
Hey, I'm a hotline thing. And that's the other thing too. When you have going back to like having your own business, like it's limitless. It's like you can be a nurse, you can be a doctor, you can be whatever you want to be. But there's always going to be a cap, most likely, like on how much money you can make. When you have your own business, it's limitless. So you can always strive higher. It's never going to be like, I'm going to make X amount and you're just going to stay there. Yeah. It's what you make of it. Like expanding, like hiring employees, expanding. That's all like growth right there, and I feel there's so much you can do with having your own business. It's just, like I said, it's limitless. Mm-hmm. And you're not on a salary or an 8 to 5 type thing. It's what you put into it. But just know that, you can do it if you really put your mind to it.
Yeah. Do you think, going back into like that esthetician, like how we work full time, do you think that's the hardest thing about being an esthetician is that we always are working, even though we're on vacation? In the back of our mind, we're like you just said, like I was off for 10 days. Didn't make money those 10 days.
You don't, yeah.
But I was living my life.
And that's a downfall too. Like if people think, oh, you're so lucky. Like you have your own business. You can just work whenever you want to. You can just,
you have so much money because you have all this.
Yeah, you this and that. You can just take vacation when you want. Like, and I'm just like, no. Like I work my ass off. I work 7 days a week. Even though I'm not physically in my treatment room, I'm there 5 days a week. But I swear to you, I work so much. And I think, yes, like it's so hard managing my time. I feel like I could use that improvement, like to really just set time aside and just manage my time better. I feel like sometimes I forget about myself because I'm putting everybody else first. And then when that happens, it's so easy to get like lost in it.
Yep.
And you just are so exhausted.
And you're
mentally,
losing yourself.
Physically. Yeah, you lose yourself. So I think it's good to take a mental break, a physical break once in a while. And, you know, there's been a couple times where I've taken a break off social media too. Because when I'm already bombarded with 25 clients a week and I have to be a mom and I have to make sure all my clients are happy.
You're social. Like, I just get so socially depressed. It's like, I'm like, everyone tells me all the time that like, how do you have like all this like, what is it? Energy. And it's like, no, you don't understand. Like, sometimes I'm like, shit, I'm faking it right now. Cause I'm really like, you don't know what happens back home, but I'm bringing that to work. You know, like the worst thing can happen to me at home, but I walk in like smiling like nothing is happening, you know, and I'm going through every client because they're not here to listen to what I'm going through. I'm listening to what they're going through. You know, they don't want to, sometimes they'll ask about me, but I'm not going to go full in about myself. I'm going to hear them out because sometimes they come to you for vent. You know, they want to vent.
It's their
that's their therapy session.
It is.
So at the end of the day, that's why I don't want to bring in my energy the way I was outside into my job, you know?
Yeah.
And it's sometimes like I leave, I'm like, dude, like I just like my social battery is like right here right now. And like I don't know how I do it.
Yeah. There's been days where I've cried, like where I'm so exhausted. Like I just cry because I'm like, some days I'm like, fuck, I can't do this. Like it's just, I'm so hard on myself, I think, because I'm trying to achieve this goal of my business. I'm trying to satisfy each of my clients. They're my priority. I'm trying to be a good mom, a good wife. But then if I can't take care of myself, then how am I going to do good at all of those things, you know? And I feel like that's where I need to improve myself. And I'm working on that now. I need to build boundaries. And I feel like that's where I'm at because there'd be still to this day, I get clients that are like, can you squeeze me in? Or like, oh, I can only come in at this time. And it's like hella late. Girl, catch me doing a facial at 8:30 at night because I can't tell my clients no, you know, but it's just like, I have to remember that I want to go home to my family too, you know, and put my health first, you know, if I'm not feeling good, like don't push myself in. And I've done that so many times and I'm like, I can't do that anymore.
Stick to your hours. Like stick to what, you know.
Yes. And I think, that I'm finally getting the groove of and kind of doing it. But I feel like the past 3 years, that's what all I've been doing is trying to make everyone happy about myself, you know? And I mean, I love what I do and I'm happy. But again, I need time to rest. I need time to spend for myself. Like even sometimes I'm like, once I leave work, it's like, I need time away from my family too, you know? Like I want to read a book or I want to, you know, listen to my jams and just like, you know, clean the house. Yeah, whatever, you know, in quiet and peace. So, yeah.
That's so funny because like I was in a relationship a while ago. And he used to tell me like, you just don't have time for me. You just don't have time for me. And I didn't realize that it was affecting my relationship.
Yeah.
Because like I would live, breathe everything esthetician. Like I was just like working from like 7 a.m. This was during COVID. So I was like working from 7 a.m. like till 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And like, I would not talk to him because I was so like busy back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
That I was just like, even on weekends, I was working 7 days a week. Like I was so busy. And like when we would go out to dinner, I would just be so tired. And he would want to do all these things, but I couldn't do it because I was just so tired. And it did affect it in a way. But then again, it was just, I was at my highest at that time that like I couldn't like be stopped. I was working from home. Yeah. So like I just knew I had like a goal and now I'm in a whole new relationship. Yeah. And I feel like the boundaries are so true. Like I'm taking every other weekend off. I work 6 days a week, but now it's like every other weekend like I have off. Perfect. Yeah. And like I have way more time with my boyfriend and like it's balances, you know? Yeah. So now I feel a lot less stressed than I was. And especially now that I have like people that are working here, it kind of like helps me. Yeah. You know, so it is like the whole boundary thing is something that's so important because you drive yourself fucking crazy. And then you go home and you're driving your car and you're just like I can't fucking work this. Like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. And you're just like rethinking, like, was this a good move? Was this a good idea? Like, you know?
Yeah. I think now, since I'm setting those boundaries, things are going a lot more smoother.
Yeah.
I have to tell myself to be gentle with myself and to allow myself that space that I need, my own self-care. I take care of people that come for self-care. But typically, I mean, I don't get my facials done. I do it myself. And it's like with my eyes closed, my machine, you know? Or like, damn, I can barely get one in a month, you know? Yes. But I mean, I'm up on my skincare game, but it's just like, because by the time I'm off, I'm like, the last person I want to do is myself, you know?
Yes.
Or like my family members. It's just like,
you should see my mom's like begging me all the time. And I'm like, you think the last thing I want to do is give you a facial? Like, I love you to death, but I'm so tired. And literally, it's all my family. They're like, you never do stuff for us. I'm like, I'm tired. Yeah. Like, you know, I don't even do stuff for myself. And if I do, like, I take one whole day off and I get my lashes, my nails.
Yeah, like self-care day.
Everything, you know?
Me too, yeah.
And that's the best
feeling, you know, but it takes a whole damn day.
Yeah. And it's like, that's like, don't say that's once a month. That's like every other month for me.
Yeah. That's like, like quarterly for me. Every other month, something like that. Yeah. My hair, I hadn't got my hair done in like 6 months. I just got it done like 3 weeks ago. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot how.
Feels.
Yeah. I was like, oh man, I had got my lashes done for the first time. I was like, oh shit, this is cool.
I have more of like a personal question now. I feel like a lot of people that own their own business never really talk about managing their money when it comes to their business.
Yeah.
So to help someone that's like in the industry or barely starting in the industry, like what are advice that you can give on managing money?
I will say, like, I've gotten the question too, like, how much money do you need to start a business? Like, you don't need like a whole lot, but I mean, you can get away with no machine. You know, like if you really want to start, like your hands are magic. You know, like that
people
they can go pretty far.
Yes. Okay? We break this, that's it. My life is over.
Right?
I'm done. We get insurance for this, please.
But yeah, I mean, eventually, it's an investment.
Absolutely.
So, at the beginning, I did what I could with whatever money I had, and it wasn't a lot. I had about $2,000, and I spread that out really far with buying some back bar, buying some retail, buying some SD Max, buying, stuff to start me up. And I bought a little machine, and that stood with me for a while. And I just ran with it. My prices at the beginning were very low compared to they are now, but I feel like no one teaches you this stuff. I feel like managing your money as a business owner is so hard. And I found out the hard way like a year ago when I had to owe back on taxes. And they don't tell you that you have to put 30% aside of your income. Like normal jobs, they take out, all that stuff. For us, it's like, we just get paid on the fly, and it's like, oh, great. Now we have to report this to Uncle Sam, what we make. And on top of that, put 30%. 30% is a lot of money. A lot.
The service fee, we had to put money. We had to realize that for taxes, there's like, they want to see the amount that you spent like for a cream, right? Let's imagine the $40 cream that you're applying on their face. How much of that did you apply on them? Because that's the taxes. That's the service fee, right? You don't fucking teach you that.
And then resellers tax.
Oh, your seller's permit. Your seller's permit. They don't tell you that. They don't teach you nothing.
And then your business license fees, your rent, your overhead, paying an overhead, your monthly, paying my booking site. I pay $55 for my booking site.
You won't even believe how much I pay for mine. Your jaw would drop. Way more than that.
I pay 60. I think 60. But again, like I'm not doing anything crazy though. It's just my POS system.
Yep.
My credit card, being able to do credit cards, taking a deposit. But it's convenience for me, so I pay it. And there's all that stuff. So it's like you can make a lot of money. But then when you have all this shit to go down, it's like, wait, let me put money away for an IRA. Let me put money away for taxes. Now I have to put money away for reseller tax. What else? Oh yeah, rent, my car payment, my hydrofacial machine. I have $1,000 payment for hydrofacial. People don't realize how expensive hydrofacials are and why we charge the way we charge. I mean, it's, almost a $50,000 machine.
Period.
I'm, 3 years of payments for me, almost $1,000 a payment. That's a lot. And
that's
so
a fucking car, you guys. And she has it in her room.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's something that I worked my booty off for. It was on my vision board for next year, and it's okay if you don't have one.
You got it done today.
Thank you.
This year.
It was on my goal list for next year. And there was a point where I was like, no, I don't want it. It's not worth it, but having it now, I've had it for about a month. I will say, like, my clients are loving it, and it is an investment, but my clients are loving it. And I'm going to make the money back. It's, but it's not for everybody. If somebody, you don't need a $40,000 machine to have a good business, but can it amplify results? Yeah. Maybe your clients love it. For me, I feel like I could get more people in and out quicker than doing like an hour and a half facial. Because now I'm charging X amount and they're in and out in 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. So I could get more people in, and it's less work because it's just all machine. So pros and cons, but yeah, I feel like no one teaches you about this kind of stuff, and you have to learn on your own.
Yeah.
And how do you pay yourself? That's the other thing. Mm-hmm. Like, are you paying yourself enough? Are you paying yourself too little? Are you even paying yourself, like how much are you putting back into your business? Mm-hmm. There's so much. And I still, to this day, I feel like there's stuff I'm still learning.
Yeah.
There's always an newbie stuff. The technology is always advancing, science, all this stuff. And I'm always, trying to keep up with all that. And again, like you could have a super good month. Like, I don't know. I don't even want to get into like exact numbers, but it's like, I had one of my biggest months the other month, and I was like, holy shit. Like, and it was one of my slowest months, and it was the biggest month. And I was like, what in the world? Like, how did I do this? But then I was looking at them. And then this month, because I took half the month off for vacation, it's like less than half, know? So it's like, it's good. It's bad. It's sad.
No, yeah.
But yeah, I feel like you have to learn how to manage your money to have your business though, because if you're someone that's a spender, it's so easy to lose track. Like if you didn't know about taxes and all this other stuff, then at the end of the year, if you don't have money put aside, you're screwed. You owe back money, and it's just like, what are you going to do?
Done. Yep.
Like, and I think there's no warning for that, So do your homework, guys. If you want your own business, get an accountant, get a bookkeeper, or,
get a life coach.
Yeah. Whatever works.
Whatever works.
Like, just keep your taxes aside if you're going to do that, because then you're going to end up with a big Uncle Sam bill.
Let me just tell you that no one told me about this, and I just learned this, and I learned this because I have multiple tax people.
Yeah.
Because I like to know multiple, what's your opinion, your opinion, your opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I went to one tax person, I got super fucked over, and then I went to I just learned.
Yeah.
But all of these write-offs are not write-offs.
Like, and then they only can write so much of it off.
And it's only a percentage of it.
Yeah, so you have to depreciate it. Yeah.
So, like I was thinking me buying food for my team, which was true because I was doing it a lot. Hey, team, I bought us this. Yeah. That's not no fucking write-off.
Yeah.
It's like, and if it is, it's like
a
quarter of it.
Yeah.
Your gas, how they say, it's not a write-off.
It's like your mileage.
It's a fucking luxury to them. Yeah. Okay. There's so many and I've learned this from this one tax person I'm going to. They're like, yeah, this is wrong. And then I went to another tax person. Oh, no, you're doing it right. And it's like, who do I really believe? Right.
Yeah. And I think you have to find too, a tax person that's familiar with your industry.
Exactly. Too. And the business of what I'm in, the beauty industry.
Yeah. And it's hard because you have to know all the ins and outs. Yes. And there's so much and for me, I think where I was, because I started as a sole proprietor.
Yeah.
So I started as a DBA secret skim bar, right? And then I did my taxes second year. And then she was like, well, next year, you're probably going to have to convert either to an LLC or S Corp. And then I ended up moving tax persons, but I was like, what's the difference between an S Corp and LLC?
Huge difference.
Right? So I was like, okay, well, so I figured that out earlier this year. But then no one, then you learn, oh, well, now you have to pay the $800,
fee
to do your taxes.
Yep.
Okay, that's not including paying the person who does them. That's just the state fee.
That's just the fee to get. Okay, so there's LLC and then your S Corp, which is S Corp is the best, by the way.
Yeah.
But that's if you're successful. You already have an establishment. You're good. Your business is good, but they don't tell you the fee. They don't tell you how much the person is going to charge you to do that for you. And then you get this really nice binder, fucking beautiful binder. Cause it's so, you know what I'm talking about, right? And it's this luxurious fucking binder. Here you go. Congratulations. You're S Corp, right? And it's fuck, dude, there's so much more. I wish I learned this in school.
Yeah.
I'm going back to school and
you're going to school for business?
Yeah. Business. And I already went. I did my first year and I'm already almost done, but
that's awesome.
I did learn a lot of it, but now I'm learning about more of the tax side, more of everything. Like I'm learning about like the economy, which is like a
Yeah.
huge thing. And a lot of people don't see like the recession that we're going through and all of this
Yeah,
stuff.
we really are going through it.
We're going the fuck through it, girl. So now it's like I'm learning so much that I wish I learned that in like beauty school. Like I wish like in high school maybe they taught you how to be like in the real world. And then if you go to esthetician school, they teach you how to like run a business, not just doing a facial. Because in my school, they didn't even teach me that.
Oh,
You know?
yeah. You go to esthetician school, like, so for those of you who are listening who are trying to be an esthetician, you don't learn shit. Like, you learn how to get through state board and the disinfection part of it. And now they aren't even making people do practical, which kind of pisses me the hell off.
Me too.
Because it's like, that shit was nerve-wracking.
Me too.
Like, but I mean, how just to go take a damn checkbox test?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's not fair. Number one. Number two, though, I just feel like you don't learn anything. It's what you put into it. So yeah, you'll learn the basic how to wax. You'll learn how to touch the face and wash cleanser off and use products that you probably won't end up using in your treatment room. I mean, some, but I didn't use the line that we worked with. But I feel like there were so many people that graduated with me, and I only saw like 3 or 4, including myself, that actually did something. And the rest, I don't know what they're doing, you know, and that's fine. But they were also very young. Like, you know, so when I was in school, I wasn't the oldest one, but I was like in the middle area. But I was like, I'm not trying to fuck around. I'm trying to come here, get my shit together.
I'm trying to get my hours.
Do my hours and leave. And I mean, I was the first one to graduate. Like, I missed one day, I think. And like, me and 2 other girls were the first ones to graduate out of like a class of 20. Yeah. And I was like, I don't have time for this shit. You know, like, I'm here to learn. I'm here to not mess around. Like, and yeah.
I think that's what happens with a lot of people that, you know, become estheticians. They want to like, they think it happens overnight. Like, well, they kind of have a plan and then they just stop like showing up, or they'll just be like unmotivated and they'll lose it, you know? And that's a lot of people. Like, they'll take a course, right?
Yeah.
And they'll take this $1,000 course and they do nothing with it. Or they take like, you know, they go to school for it and they just lose the motivation for it, you know, because they lose hope. They're like, oh my gosh, like I'm not making what I thought I would be making. But if you're not like you're not, what is the word? What am I looking for? Committed?
Yeah.
Right? If you're not like
it's what you put into it.
Yeah. If you're not committed to it, like it's not going to happen. You have to like be hungry. Yeah. If you're not hungry for it, it's not going to work for you. Mm-mm. You gotta be starving because everyone in this fucking industry is fucking hungry.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you can't expect, you know, if you want to build a business, it's not going to become an empire overnight.
Yeah,
you know, and you have to always remember, like, the first 5 years of your business, you're putting back into it. So even if you are making a good amount of money, you aren't seeing all the money like in a savings account just to like blow on a freaking Louis bag or whatever. It's going back into your business. Yeah. You know, there's bills, there's stuff to pay for, your overhead, and it kind of circulates like that. And again, like, you have to put it in, and there's people that a business isn't for everyone. You know, it's a lot of what we were talking about that goes into it. And some people are just like, I don't got time for that shit. Yeah. Like, I just rather do 9 to 5 because they want to see the money be consistent. And with having a business, it can be like this or like this. Like, you know, it's so different. And even me, it's like, yeah, I'll have good months. And then there's months where I'm like, damn, why is there so many cancellations? Or when it's flu season, you know, a lot of people, New Year's, like January is so slow for me a lot of the time. And July was kind of slow. August is, you know, but it's just, you're going to have waves like that. You know, like, what's your backup plan if you do? Like, are you going to be able to pay your rent? Are you going to, you know, these are things you have to kind of think about
and consider for sure.
Yeah. And for me, I'm just like, okay, well, I know I'm good even if I'm slow, you know, and that's just how it is.
And that's on managing your money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because I said it before, you need money for a rainy day. You know?
You do.
You need to save that money for when there's times like this. And I know because I learned this that on my website, it kind of shows like your analytics of like your reports from last year.
Yeah.
So what months were you slow in? And it was like July and August was the same. And it happened again. July and August this year were slow. It picks back up in September, but the year before that, same thing. So I know, and I knew this whole year, I was like, okay, July and August, Deanna, it's going to be slow. So June, you need to like stack it up and make sure that you have the rent for July and August. And when you own a shop, you have to consider your light bill, your water bill,
electricity, your Wi-Fi.
You have to consider like all of the small things in the shop that, can potentially go wrong. Like my toilet the other day, what happens? Who fixes it? I do. So we have to consider that we have to save all the money that I make goes back into my business, So one thing that I would say about managing my business and money would be like, I had a business credit card and my business debit card.
Yeah. I have one too.
Yeah. Keep those two keep your credit card. If you buy something, like when we go to like the conventions, put on the credit card, pay it back the next month or something, and whatever on debit card, like if people sell you or whatever the small necessities would be on your debit card.
Yeah, I feel like having a business card is great. If you don't know this, a business credit card doesn't affect your social. So it's not going to really up your credit score. I didn't know that, so I applied. But having a business card, like you mentioned, really it's easier to manage the finances because you're able to just swipe on there. There's a record for it. And then you just pay as you go. For me, I pay like the few days after, the next day, like, so I'm on top of it. And what's nice is that my business card gets points. So like Chase. I'm racking up the points. Yes, I have a Chase business card. And I use those points for if I ever do want a one-day getaway, like for my hotel stays so that's actually saving me money in the long run too. Yes. But yeah, I feel like set your automatic payments if you're not someone to go in and pay. I have automatic payments and I still pay like right away after just because that's the way I am because I don't like seeing a raked up high like credit card bill. But yeah, I feel like it really does help when everything is just on it. Yeah. Because when you pull your reports quarterly or monthly or yearly, like you can see everything, what you spend on, and it breaks it down. Like this is for gas, this is for food, this was equipment, this is supplies. And I feel like it's much better than to do on my, on my regular debit. I still have a business debit, but I mean, I use the credit because I get the points. Why not?
Yeah, that's me.
So, and then there's no like, as long as you're not paying late, I mean, you shouldn't get any fees,
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're capped out though on your limit. That's the thing. So I think having a business credit card has really helped in terms of like investing, like, like you're able to buy a little machine to start or you're able to, and then they'll raise it as you start paying. It'll go up. So I'm glad that you brought that up because that is a really good point. Yeah. That's how I've survived off my business credit card.
Why do you think I mentioned it? Because that's how I live.
No, yeah. But it's great. I mean, I feel like when you are on top of your finances and you know what you're doing, things make sense.
Yeah.
But
it's a lot easier.
Yeah. And if you're not, that's when shit hits the fan. And you just learn. You're gonna learn though. Whether you fall, you learn.
And I could say it for myself. I fell multiple times.
Yeah.
I fucked up. There's times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll be okay to buy this Louis. I'll be okay to spoil myself. And then I go back and I'm like, I'm not okay. Like I owe this. I should have paid this instead of buying this, But there's like times where I wanted to spoil. This was a while ago. This is before I was like not managing my money well. And this is where I really started like, okay, like I need to get my shit together. Cause this was during COVID. I was making so much. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is like crazy. Like I would have like 12 clients a day.
That's a lot.
I was just like making really good money. So I was like, maybe the splurge wouldn't be like so bad. Yeah. But then that splurge would have just like hit me, and I'd be like, fuck, like maybe I messed up. Because I didn't have a mentor with finances at the time. I only had a mentor with like facials and stuff. But that's when I was like, okay, like I need a life coach. I need someone to help me. I need a bookkeeper. I need someone that can help me and really like sit down with me and say, here, Deanna, you need to do this, this, and that.
Yeah.
And let me help you with that.
Yeah.
And that was like the biggest advice from my mom was like, hey, you need to do this. You need to get your shit together.
Well, not only that, you have like a whole team too.
Yeah. But this was before when I was solo. Oh. Yeah. So
I still don't have a bookkeeper and I still don't have a life coach. But I feel like I've understood and like just researched and done stuff to yourself. Now I know what I'm doing. Yeah. Eventually I'm going to need a bookkeeper. I'm just kind of working it right now. But
a bookkeeper is just good just to like, you can get other opinions,
No, yeah. I mean, it's just like, it just depends on how much time you have and you put into it. Because sometimes I'm just like, I don't have time. But yeah, I'm going to hire a bookkeeper because now I don't really have the time to be dealing with all that stuff. But it's easy. I mean, I use Vagaro. So Vogaro keeps all of my monthly stuff. It shows all my reports on what I make, cash, or like, and it's just there. I pull the report and it shows everything. So that makes it easy too. Between that and my credit card, I'm just like, I hand it to my tax person.
Yeah.
Here you go.
So now we talked about that. I want to know, before we end the podcast, I want to know, now that you've been in this industry for a minute and you know you've been through like bad clients, you've been to your good clients, your regulars now, what is your favorite type of client? Because we all have our favorite type of client. Mm-hmm. My favorite type of client is showing up like 10 minutes early and, or, you know, like always okay if I'm like running a little behind, because sometimes I do run behind. Like I'll run like the extra 5 minutes because I'm like, I want every experience to be like, you know, a good experience, even if it was a new client, you know, and a lot of my regulars know, like, if I spend like 5 minutes after, it's because like it's a new client and I just want them to get to know me better. So I'll spend like that 5 extra minutes talking to them, you know?
Yeah. I think my favorite, I won't say I have a favorite client, but my favorite types of clients are the ones that trust me completely to do what I know what I'm doing. You know, like they'll come in and be like, what are we doing today? They don't flinch at the price. They don't flinch at what I'm doing. They don't question what I'm doing. You know, those are the best clients, you know.
They'll just trust you.
Yeah. It's just, I feel like they make my job easier, and they know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, you know? And I mean, obviously, like there's people that want a specific treatment, you know? Other than that, I feel like, again, just trusting me, being patient, being consistent. That's consistent is, to me, those are the best clients. They're consistent with their treatments. They're consistent with their regimen.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like those are the ones that make your business excel.
Yes.
Because you have, you know, your regulars now coming in, you have them on a regimen. They're like, do whatever you want. I need this thing. They're on it, you know, and that's keeping your flow coming in too. I wish all clients were like that. I mean, there's some that, you know, clients are just like, some random ones will just come in just for a one and done type thing. And then
I just want to try it out.
Yeah. Or there's clients that, the worst type of clients, I'll just go into it, is like the ones that don't trust the process. Not trust me, trust the process and be patient. Those ones are just so hard to work with, because let's say if you have acne, for instance, like how long have you had acne? Years, months, whatever. Like it's going to take a long time for it to go away. Like you're going to probably get worse before you get better.
Absolutely.
And I have clients that trust me and trust the process, and it's great, makes everything smooth. And I have those that are questioning a week later.
Is this normal?
Skin, yeah, is this normal? Like, why do I look like this? It looks worse. And then I have people that just don't come back after they invested $500 in a regimen and paid for their first treatment. And they see the purging and they freak out and they stop everything. I've had a few like that. Or I have the lazy ones that are like, yeah, I'm doing the regimen, but they're eating like shit still. They're stressed. They
don't wash their pillowcases. Okay.
Yeah, they're not steaming their makeup. Like it's just,
There's so many things.
It's just like, I can only do so much. I can give you the tools. I can do your treatments. But you have to do it at home. 80% is your home care.
Absolutely.
And
what
the other,
you eat, what you drink,
everything, stress,
everything.
mindset, it's everything. And, yeah. And I feel like there's always going to be clients on both ends, good and bad.
Absolutely.
But I appreciate all my clients that come in, support me, and trust the process and trust me, you know, and the ones who have been with me since day one. Like it's crazy to see how we both have evolved, like from their point, like of where they started in their skincare journey till now, and their skin is thriving. Yeah. Like whether it would be, you know, age management or acne, and everyone has their own journey, and everyone's journey is going to look a little different in terms of time. And so it's nice knowing that these people come to me, they trust me, and I'm able to build that relationship with them.
Yeah. And they've seen you grow from like where you started till now.
Yeah.
And like the way they tell you, like, oh my God, I've just seen you, like you're thriving, you know?
Yeah.
And that feels good. Because it's like they see it, you know?
It's so funny when I moved into Sola, not that this is a different topic, but I just thought it right now. When I walked into Sola, I went around like, you know, like moving my stuff. And then that first day you kind of see your neighbors. And it was, I remember like, I introduced myself to the girl next door. Like they came by and all these people were like, oh, I follow you on Instagram. And I'm like, oh, you do? Like, I don't know who you are, you know? And then they were like peeking. Oh, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, I think I follow you. And I'm just like, oh my God, like these people all follow me like they know who I am. But I don't know who they are. I'm like, oh, what's your Instagram? So I follow you back, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it almost like humbled me a lot just because like, I was like, oh, like I really am known in Eastville, you know, like for what I do.
Yeah.
From not just from clients, but from like other professionals that are now my neighbors.
Yeah.
And they were coming from like Riverside, Moreno Valley. It's so crazy. There's a bunch of estheticians in Eastville now. They came from like Moreno Valley, Riverside area.
Dang.
So crazy, right?
I just moved to Eastville. I like it, but I'm moving back to Rancho.
Eastville's nice. Give it a few minutes.
Yeah, I've been there. I actually lived there for when I was 15, and I lived there for like 2 years, and then I moved back to Rancho, and then I moved back, and I've been there for like 6 months. I love Eastville. It's beautiful. There's so much more that they're building.
Yeah,
I just like I grew up in Rancho. This is where I'm from. It's my home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I didn't grow up in Eastville. I grew up in Hacienda Heights, but I ended up out here. So
but Eastville's beautiful.
It is. It's like the Beverly Hills of the Inland Empire, you know? So I always strive to give my clients the best because, you know, and of course, if they can't afford me, that's okay, you know, or, you know, but I do like to offer the best of the best in terms of like products, you know, treatments. I offer DMK enzyme therapy. I do like perfect derma peel. I do, BioRepeal, that's one of my big ones right now. You know, stuff like that. And Hydrofacial, my newest baby. Like, you know, I love so much what I do. And I put everything into, like, my whole heart and soul goes into each of my clients, you know, journey. And I just love it. I love even if they're just coming for some self-care to get stuff off their chest. I do feel like a therapist sometimes. Yeah. And I'm happy that my space is a safe space, you know, and because at the end of the day, like, people are going to go to you because they like who you are as well. Of course, your work ethic and how you work, but you really have to build a relationship with your clients. And I really think that's how you differentiate yourself from the rest. Like when people tell me, like, what's different about you than other people? And I will say, like, I treat my clients like gold. Like they're my second family. Like I treat all of them like they're royal, you know? And I put my heart and soul into the treatment, into, you know, my massage that I offer, into checking in on them, you know, and just even being there for them. You know, I've had people cry in my bed.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've cried with them, you know, and it's so nice because I know so much about them where I feel like, damn, these people are my friends more than my friends. You know? And that goes back to say a client will become a friend before a friend becomes a client. Yeah. You know, and I do have a circle of friends that do support me. Not saying none of them do, but I will say, like, being on the other side of the game, like, it really, really makes me appreciate my clients, because without my clients, I don't have a business.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we always end this podcast with a quote, so go ahead and tell us your quotes.
My quote will be my tagline, which is ready, set, glow. It's never too late for a glow up. So if you are hella older, like, you know, generation millennials, older, like in your 50s or 60s, and you're like, it's too late to start. Like, it's never too late to start. Nope. It's never too late to start. So throw away that apricot scrub. Throw away your freaking bar soap.
Ives, please.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Throw that in the trash. It's never too late, you know, to start your skincare journey. It's never too early. Yeah. You know, you can be young. Like, you know, you could be 18 and it's never too early to start using vitamin C or retinol, you know, and you're 70. If you're older, that's fine too. Like, what are you going to do now? Of course, the best is preventative. Yes. You know, but at the same time, it's like, just work with the skin professional, because trust me, if you go to Sephora and Ulta and you're there,
stop buying that.
It's all marketing. It's all packaging. Like, and lots of times you're trying to guess and be a chemist. Stop playing chemist. See a professional. You end up saving money in the long run. Yep. And you end up just like, why didn't I find you sooner? Yeah. You know, so I'm going to end with that, you know, ready, set, glow. If you guys don't follow me already, my name is Nadine, and I am the business owner of Secret Skin Bar. So give me a follow on Instagram. And if you guys ever have any issues with skincare, acne, age management, pigmentation, I'm your girl. I'm located in Eastville, California, and it's been a pleasure being here.
Thank you so much for joining my podcast.
Of course.
You're the first esthetician, right? This season.
It's like, I was a gay.
This season.
Oh,
So
I'm so flattered.
yes,
I was so
had to.
excited when you reached out to me. So I
I had to. I was a fan.
I know when you said you're a fan, I'm like, I'm a fan too.
Well, thank you so much. And I will see you guys
Yeah.
next week. Bye.